Next up, midfielders. We'll start off with our captain, Christian Norgard. Very easy start.
Yeah, an obvious one, this.
I think just seems like the perfect captain, gets along with everyone, and so definitely start. I do think he's getting on a bit, and so we're going to have to look for his replacement at some point. I mean, we were in the window for a young midfielder who plays in his position in Archie Gray, but unfortunately, we've been beaten to him
with Tottenham.
by Spurs. But yeah, definitely start.
Yeah, obvious one. Next, we got Vitaly Janelt, who I personally think he's good enough to start, but I'd put him bench.
You know what? I agree. I think bench. I think he's Mr. Reliable. He's been incredible this season. I think Brighton away was one of his best games for me. He played in CDM that game.
Yeah.
I mean, lots of Brentford fans this season have been saying we're better with Janelt at 6 than Norgard, which I think people are forgetting how good Norgard is for us. But I do think sometimes from the number 8 position, Janelt can have too little influence on the game, although he does an important job.
He was voted as the Players' Player of the season.
Yeah.
Which does show he's still very good.
I think that's because of how reliable he is.
Yeah.
He can play in every position nearly, and
even playing left back for us.
Yeah, and he can do a good job there, and I think that's very important. So I'm going to say bench. It might seem harsh, but bench. Next up, Kronak, our Turkish wonder kid. I think he's only 18 years old, and I'm going to say bench.
Bench, yeah.
I think, obviously, with the young players, you want to get them alone, but he was unfortunate when he joined us because he got an injury straight away, which was a bit of the theme of our season last year. But he was on the bench in the last game of the season last year.
Yeah.
And I think he'll be a big part of the future.
Yeah, he was even at the away end in the Bournemouth game, was it?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, he's been going to some games as a fan as well, which, I can see.
It shows the passion.
I can see just Brentford fans loving this guy in the future, and
Future captain.
Yeah, I really hope he turns out good, and he could be that Norgard replacement. Next up, Frank Onyeka. Sell.
Yeah, and he has been good for us, and I've liked him as a player, but I feel like, it's just time to leave.
I think his best season for us was our first year in the Premier League when we first signed him, but he's had too many injuries, and he's had good games, but too many not good games, and I think lots of fans aren't too keen on him. I remember when he got subbed on against Sheffield United at home, I said to the guy next to me, watch Onyeka lose this game for us, but then he scored the winner, and he's been pretty happy with this goal, so I wish him all the best, but I'd like to send him.
Yeah. Next up we got Damsgaard, who maybe if we did this a season ago we might have said bench or sell even, but I think definite starter now.
I agree. I think start. And what really frustrates me is he had a really good end to the season, and then in the last 3 games of the season where Janelt, Norgard and Jensen were all fit, they all started, and Damsgaard didn't get a single start in the last few games of the season, which really annoyed me. I think he's young, he needs the game time, because he has been on form, so let him continue that form. But I think Damsgaard could be a big part of our future.
Yeah, he has good enough quality to make passes and very forward-thinking player as well.
Next up, Josh Da Silva. I'm going to say bench, because we all love Josh Da Silva.
I'd like to stay.
Yeah, we want him to stay. We all know how good he's been in the past for us, but he gets long-term injury after long-term injury, and so it's really a shame because he had such good potential. He plays so well when he is fit, but he can't get form together really with the injuries.
Yeah, he's a very unlucky player in that sense.
Next up, is Yegor Yarmouk. I'd say bench.
Yeah, bench.
I feel he did well for us this last season. He came off the bench quite a lot, and I'd like to see him have another season with us and try and get into the starting 11 or be closer to it.
Yeah, because he was starting when we had players injured, and he's shown we have very versatile depth as well in the midfield areas.
Yeah, I think he did well for us this season when we had lots of injuries and we were struggling in the midfield. I think it was Luton at home where he did start and we actually won that game. Yeah, it's a shame he didn't get a goal or an assist in the season, but hopefully we can see more from him in the future.
Yeah, I'd like to see more.
And he can do well.
Next up we have Matthias Jensen, and for me it's another obvious start.
Yeah, I'd say start as well. I would say though, I would like us to improve our midfield. Our midfield has great depth, but I would like to see us make a big signing in the midfield and try and improve it. I do think Jensen's on his day a really good player. He started the season really well, but I think he has lots of off days as well where he lacks a bit of influence.
Yeah.
Next up, Ryan Trevitt. Ryan Trevitt had a good loan last season, and until around Christmas where he got a really bad injury and he got called back from the loan so he could recover with us. I'm going to say loan.
Yeah, I feel like sending him out on another loan's a good idea.
I think he might actually be a bench player this next season, but I would loan him out and get him more sort of lower league experience. And when he was at Crawley Town, lots of the Crawley fans were saying he's one of the best young midfielders they've ever seen at their club. And so hopefully he can be good in the future for us.
Yeah, that's a good sign.
Yeah. And then the final midfielder, Miles Part-Harris. I'm going to say loan as well. Yeah,
loan.
I think, he got loaned out halfway through the season last year to Peterborough. And I'm not really too sure how he did, to be honest, but I think another loan would suit him.
Yeah, it would. Because he's not getting into that Brentford squad. And we got too much depth in the midfield already.
Yeah.
So the loan's probably the best option.
I don't see him really breaking into the starting 11 or bench in the future as well. So maybe he could be a sell in the future. But for now, definitely give him a chance on loan.
And finally, we got the attackers. This will be the wingers and strikers. To start with, we got Lewis Potter. What are your thoughts?
I'm going to say bench. I think he is a really good player on his day. We've had games this last season where we were lacking just creation up front, and he did create a lot. He takes on defenders, he gets crosses in, but unfortunately his finishing hasn't been great this last season. I think he only got 2 goals and he should have got quite a lot more. But I also think he's very unlucky some of the time because he deserves more minutes than he actually does get. And I'd be willing to say or bet in the future that he's going to be a good bench player for us for many years, but eventually in the future we're just going to sell him. He won't renew his contract because I don't think he'll be happy with his game time and he'll just ask to leave. What do you think?
Yeah, I think he's really good, and I feel like it's a bit of a waste of talent having on the bench all the time.
Yeah.
Maybe he can be rotation, I think.
Yeah, I want all of our attackers to be rotated in, to be honest, but I don't think... Yeah. I feel like sometimes he won't get enough chances, and that's really unfortunate.
Yeah.
And he was really good at Hull. He was like the main player at Hull. Then he got sold to us, and it's never really taken off. In his first season with us, he did have a really big injury.
Yeah, that didn't help.
Didn't help, and then this last season has been his breakout season. But I do want a bit more from him when he does play. But also, I don't think he's going to get enough chances in the future. But next is Brian Mbeumo. Easiest start, maybe out of all of them. Yeah,
definitely our best attacking player.
Yeah, he's been linked away to big teams like Liverpool, so it shows how good he is. He was unfortunately injured this last season, but we know how important he is. And he gets a lot of goals in and more for him.
Next we have Ola Kigbe, who again is a really good player, but I feel like the best for him would be a loan.
Yeah, I agree. I think he was on loan for the second half of last season, and in the first half of the season where he was with us, he actually did very well. He almost scored against Nottingham Forest. It was just a good block. And I think some of the players said in an interview, he's really good and exciting, and in training he keeps you alert, he'll take you on, he's fast, he's got decent dribbling. And so I think he could actually be a really good player for the future, and I'm excited by him, but definitely a loan for this season.
Yeah.
Up next is Kellen Sharder. This is a difficult one, I'd say.
Yeah.
It's between start and bench. I'm going to say start.
Yeah, I'd love to see him start.
I think he should have that left wing role. And I think he could hopefully make it his own. In his first sort of loan with us, he played well, but it never really clicked. And then it looked like he was finding form at the start of this last season. But unfortunately, he got the season-long injury. But since coming back from that injury, he got a goal and an assist. He got a really good goal before the injury. And so I hope that he can make that position his own and do really well for us in the future.
Yeah. Next we've got Wissa, who I'd really like to start. but I feel like bench is the best option for him. Just in his record for us having loads of last-minute winners, and it's great to have such a high-tempo player come on such late in a game, change the game for us.
Yeah, I think this is interesting because he seems a lot more effective off the bench. He doesn't always play that well when he starts the games, and also this last season he seems a lot better down the middle than on the left. And we've already put Kevin Schade to be our starting left winger for the next season, and so if we've got Wissa on the bench, he's either backup left winger or striker, and so he could do a job as both backup left winger and striker this season. But there's a reason that we're saying backup striker, because up next is Igor Thiago, club record signing of 30 million from Club Brugge.
Yeah, first Brazilian to play for Brentford, and he will be our starting striker next season.
Yeah, I really hope he does start, because that's a lot of money. And so, yeah, I hope he does start. But I would understand if he gets rotated with Wissa up front. But yeah, really excited for Thiago. Hopefully he can do well.
Yeah, I'm hoping he doesn't take him too long to get into scoring, because I know for some signings, it does take them a while to get in the groove. Take Flecken last season and Damsgaard over the past few seasons.
I feel like Igor Thiago is going to be one of those players where when he's in form, he's going to be unstoppable, and then when he's sort of out of form, he might get a bit of stick from fans. Not going to be too good, but hopefully he can find his form in pre-season, start the season well, and be great for us.
Yeah.
And finally, Ivan Toney, sell.
So, yeah.
I think it's quite self-explanatory. He's not renewed his contract. We're trying to sell him to get some money for him. And we've already done a video on Ivan Toney and his potential links.
Yeah, I feel like it'd be good to sell him now while he's got 1 year left on his contract, rather than letting him go free next year. And also we can get money for him to develop depth in other areas, which would be good.
Yeah. Yeah, we could really use the Ivan Toney money that we would get to improve the squad. And I think that since his return from his ban, he's been a bit underwhelming. He started well, but he never really looked like he had match fitness. He then got an injury midway through his return, which didn't help him. And I'd say his two best games since his return have both been for England, in the Belgium game and the Slovenia game of Slovakia the other day, where he came on as a sub and had a great impact for England. That's all for this tier list video.
We've linked the template down below for you to do your own, and thank you for watching.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.